I'm Zach. Welcome to It's Dangerous to Go Alone, Drink This, a podcast where I invite my friends to come and discuss our favorite games. Each episode, my guests and I challenge each other to discover or design a drink that we believe encapsulates some essence of the game. Game mechanics, personal tales, and remarkable refreshments are all fair game, so sit back, relax, and have a drink with us. Hi, and welcome to today's episode of It's Dangerous to Go Alone, Drink This. I'm your host, Zach, and I'm with you today with my guest and girlfriend, Deidra.
Hi.
Who I guess you met in the Bug Snacks episode. But today we are talking about a board game, or I guess actually more of a card game called Here to Slay. For those of you watching, here's the box. But Deidra, did you want to, or no, I'll read the description.
Yep.
So it says, Here to Slay is a strategic role-playing fantasy card game from the creators of Unstable Unicorns. Also a great game. In this game, you'll assemble a full party of heroes and slay dangerous monsters while sabotaging your friends' enemies. Brace yourself for a fast-paced, adorable, and utterly destructive adventure. So before we get into the game, I'll quick show you the drink that I got. The first drink is mine here. You can look down now. Okay. So for anyone watching, you can see it here. But I'll describe, or do you want to describe it?
Yeah, I can describe it since I don't know what it is. It's kind of like a almost reddish brown colored, like kind of. I wouldn't say purple. It's definitely.
I was thinking
brown.
purple, but I guess I see what you're saying. Especially when you hold it up to the light.
I can see that it could be purple. Yeah, it's almost like a purpley pink. But it's weird because at the top, where the foam of like whatever you poured into it, it's almost like a green.
Yeah, it looks kind of nasty. Now, I will say I made this the other night and tested it myself. It tastes way better than I thought it would taste based on what I put in it. I'm not going to tell you the name yet or what's in it. Okay. Because that's part of the guessing. But then for everyone else, so there is a lime wedge on top, and it's just in a normal like beer glass with ice. But you want to?
Yeah.
Cheers. First thoughts?
It's very like tart.
Yeah.
Very, very citrusy, fruity.
It's a weird mix of flavors.
Yeah, I was going to say there's a lot going on. It's really good.
The way that well, actually, do you have any other descriptions? Otherwise, I'll tell you kind of the way I thought of it, describing it before.
Yeah, I can't tell. There's so many like citrusy flavors.
Okay.
Yeah.
The way that I thought of it, it almost tastes like, like Dum Dum suckers?
Yeah.
If you just grabbed like a random handful and ate them at the same time.
All of them at the same time.
Because it kind of tastes like a bunch of fruit, and then you get a little bit of that, like, the bubblegum flavored one, and then, like, the cotton candy flavored, where it's like, it doesn't really taste like bubblegum, it doesn't really taste like cotton candy, but it's that, like, fake version of it. That's what this makes me think of. If you took those two and then a few random other flavors and just ate them at the same time.
Yeah, I can see that. I definitely see, because fruity, sweet.
Yeah, and I'm not going to say this is like the best cocktail or anything, but it's far from the worst.
It's very good.
I was not expecting it to taste this good when I made it.
It's very good. It's not super strong alcohol-wise.
No.
Right off the...
I was going to say, I can tell you, like, the flavor is not deceiving. It's not very strong alcohol per volume.
Okay.
But, yeah, so if you have thoughts or questions on it while you're thinking of how it connects, let me know. Otherwise, I guess we can get more into kind of our description of the game. So, the box had a nice overarching or like I guess very like high level, just kind of this is what it is. But I don't know. Do you want to describe more of in depth a little?
So what you're trying to do is you're trying to make a team of heroes, and then you can use other types of cards to help your heroes get along so that you can eventually fight a bunch of monsters.
Yeah, and like we said, it's a card game. So you have like your hand of cards, and then everyone takes turns doing like their moves and stuff. But there's two main ways to win. One is if you get all six, well, in the base game, all six classes assembled on your team, and you can kind of think of it almost like Dungeons and Dragons, where you have like rangers and warriors and clerics, and so you're trying to collect one like full party, and if you do that, you win. Or if you slay three monsters, you win. And it's actually a lot harder to kill a monster than it seems.
Yes, it's definitely the monster route can be harder. It depends on your cards though.
Yes.
It's definitely dependent on the cards on how you win and how you play the game.
Mm-hmm. And actually, I should say, on the box it does say it's a game for 2 to 6 players. I think we've played with more. I'm pretty sure we did up to 8 once. Maybe I'm thinking of a different game, but
yeah, I'm not sure.
Either way, you definitely could play with more, especially if you're taking it more lighthearted, like not.
Yeah. If you're just kind of having fun with it, not super serious, yeah, you can do more.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think with the expansion itself, because I think it adds like about 30 cards to the game, it definitely helps for having the availability for more people.
Yeah, and I guess we should note too, just for anyone that knows the game. So we have the base game and one expansion. There's a second expansion that we don't have, so we can't really comment too much on that. But yeah, I guess maybe should we kind of explain the different types of cards?
Yeah. So the main card that you start with from the beginning is your class, your party leader. So that it's one class, and then that's the leader. It has a special ability at the bottom that you have to kind of remember the ability throughout the game, because if you forget about it, you just don't get to use it.
Right.
So then after your leader, then the next ones are heroes. And so those are a smaller version, and they're all different classes. And they kind of go off what the party leader is, like, per class. So each class kind of has, like, a general idea of what it does. And it's spread out through the party leader and its heroes.
Yeah, and maybe we can explain that a little more in
Yep.
depth in a second, but
And then the other cards, so while you're playing and you're drawing cards and then you're playing them on your turns, you can play your hero cards and add them to your party. Or else there's magic cards. So those are just kind of like an instant, this thing happens.
yeah, like they all do different things. Some help you, some hurt your friends that you're playing with, or some of them are just kind of random effects. Like there's a few that I can think of that aren't necessarily like super helpful or hurting or anything, but it just kind of does something that kind of changes the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just to kind of keep things moving, I guess.
Yeah, they just kind of, change a little bit.
Then, did you want to?
You can go.
I was gonna say then another type of card is an item card. There's a few different types of items. These will be put on your heroes, and they'll just typically help them in some way, except there are some that you can put on other people's heroes that will hurt them, again, in just some various way. Sometimes it makes them, like, literally useless. Sometimes it just makes it harder for them to do certain things. Or there's some creative ones that you can use a card that might typically be a good thing in a specific situation on somebody else to make it a bad thing. Mm-hmm. And those are kind of fun to find those unique usages.
Yeah, no, I know myself. I definitely don't utilize the item cards as much as I should. I forget about them a lot.
But you do use the magic cards a lot, and I'm not the best at using those.
I'm good at using that to try to. I feel like there's a lot of times for me where I just get stuck in the game, like, oh, do I go this way? Do I go this way? And I'm like,
Sure.
magic, I gotta change something. So.
Oh yeah, and then the last two types of cards are the more like unique ones. So one of them is called a challenge card, and the way that this works is when somebody plays a card, you can challenge it, and now that doesn't immediately get rid of their card. You both have like a mini little fight, and it's basically just rolling some dice, but you can change up the way that the dice roll and everything based on other cards that you might have. And whoever wins that dice roll gets to decide what happens with the card. So if you win the challenge, their card is discarded. But if they win, then it stays there, and you've just wasted your challenge card.
Mm-hmm. And then you mentioned there's other ways to like help you either like get the challenge or other things, but there's the last type of card is called a modifier. And so there's a bunch of different types of these. So what they do is they either add or take away from your roll of the dice.
Yeah, and like some of them, like a lot of them will be split, so it's like either +2 to dice or -2. So you can either use it to help you or against them. But there's some that are split differently, so it's like +1 -3 or +3 -1. There's
And
a couple
then,
fours in there.
yeah, there's some that are like only +4, only -4. So
Well, and then the other thing with these two is like your opponent will also probably have some. So it say you throw out like a +3 on yours, and they're like, okay, fine, -4 to you.
because they really don't want you to get
Yeah.
that.
Or the other thing that I find fun is, so let's say, because Deidra and I we've played this a few times, just the two of us, and then we've played with some friends a few times. And I think it's really fun when, like, say we're going against each other, just like throwing down our modifiers, trying to like win something, and someone else just swoops in and throws like 4 down. They're like, no, that person wins.
Yeah, you like to do that to
I
other
love
people.
doing that to other people. Like,
You
it has
like to
no
see-
bearing on me. I just like, picking somebody to make a friend of and make an enemy with someone else. Like,
Yeah, you're like, why not? This is how the game's gonna go. We might not like each other afterwards, but that's okay.
yeah. No, I think that's a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. But that's one of the things I like about the game is that it feels almost like an in between of like a party game and like a very intense strategy game. It's like a lighthearted strategy where like there is a lot of strategy. You can take it very seriously if you want to, but it also allows you to take it very, very casually. And I like that in between where like you kind of straddle that line where you're competing with your friends, but you're also joking around, having a good time too.
Yep, and it said it on the description on the box, but these cards are definitely adorable.
Oh, true.
Unstable Unicorns as a company, all of their games have the same art style, and it is wonderful. Like, they're all so cute. They're cartoony. Even the serious ones that are like supposed to be like scary or strong,
Like
they're still cute.
A lot of them are like, it's weird because it's like cool looking, but then also like adorable.
Yes, very much.
Like, I know you held up Pan Chunks earlier. That's one of our favorite cards. It's a panda bear with nunchucks. And yeah, so for anyone that's been watching, obviously you've seen us pick up some of the cards. Anyone listening, you might not be able to see them while listening, but you can go to the Unstable Unicorns website. What is it? Just unstableunicorns.com/here to slay. And they have all their stuff there. And you can go and look at like some of the card art and whatnot there. Otherwise, I mean, there's always Google too.
Yep, I know that Here to Slay has a wiki page, so you can look up every card on what it does, and you can look up, like we said, we don't have the newest expansion, but if we wanted to, we could go look it up and say,
See like what each card
we
does.
really want to get this expansion because we know that these cards are in it.
Yeah, so I guess that's kind of the basics of how to play. We don't want to get too crazy with the rules and everything. It's not that hard of a game to learn. I mean, honestly, like we played it, I think once or twice, and then we got it. So as long as you just read the rules, or I couldn't remember, was there a video for this one?
I don't think so.
Okay. I know some of their other games, they put out like videos that you can watch to kind of teach you a little bit. I can't remember for this one, but yeah, we read through them one time, kind of struggled a little bit with a couple of things here and there the first time, but by the second time, like we were figuring everything out. So it's a pretty easy game to learn. Especially, like, it's a pretty short game, so, like, if you don't know what you're doing, you can finish it and then start a new one, and, like, you've learned from the first game, so.
Yep.
But yeah, should we get into the different heroes and then kind of explain, or the leaders, sorry, and the classes?
Before we get to the leaders, though, I have a question about the drink.
Yeah, go ahead.
Does the color of the drink, is that like a descriptive factor of why it relates to the game?
Slightly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there is a part that is related to the color. I'm not going to tell you how.
Okay.
At least until, once we finish it. If you don't get it, maybe I'll give you more info. But yeah, actually, I should also say one thing with the flavor that's a little weird for me. Because of the stuff I've put into, like, I kind of know where the flavors are coming from. But there's these, like, different competing flavors, and it's really strange because you take a sip and, like, you taste it one way, but then, like, the aftertaste, like, you feel something else, and then a second after that there's another aftertaste, and it's really weird. It's just like this rolling, like, a bunch of different flavors.
Yeah, so every piece that's in it comes out, I'm assuming. At least I think that's what I'm tasting, is this flavor here and then this flavor here, and it's just all getting its little time to shine in your mouth.
Yeah, it's a very interesting flavor. Like,
it's very good.
I like it, but I don't love it. I guess is the way I would describe it.
I think I like it because I tend to like the more, like, fruity, flavorful drinks that are less like alcohol dependent.
That's fair. I like to taste some of the alcohol, and I don't really taste much in this.
Yep. Which is exactly why
but
we like it and don't like it.
Yeah, no. Well, and it's not that I dislike it. It's just don't like it that much. Like, I guess I think a way that I would put it is I wouldn't order this in a bar, but if somebody handed me one, I wouldn't complain.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
But okay, so do you want to start with
let's get into the party leaders. So we have 8 types because we have the expansion.
Oh, yeah. We should
I'll
just
pull
real quick.
those 2 out.
The base game starts with 6. We'll go through those first. And then the first expansion came with 2 other classes, as well as, their respective leaders. And then I believe the other expansion also comes with 2
It also comes with 2
other new ones.
Yeah.
We just haven't, obviously, gotten into those. But
But yeah, so with each party itself, they all follow a theme of a color and an animal. So across each class, there's a specific animal. So I'm just gonna go with my favorite that I like the most.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, wait. Favorite art or favorite?
No. Favorite that I like to use in the game.
Yeah, I didn't think it was that one. Sorry. So she just pulled out, like, the card. You want to tell them what it is?
Yeah, so my favorite class is the Guardians. They're the yellow unicorns. Like, they're not all yellow, but the border around the card is yellow. So the Guardians, the main thing that each Guardian hero does is something with modifying. So that's why I like it, because I think modifying cards are my favorite across the whole thing. I like to always use them, have them. I can't do the game without them. So for the Guardian party leader, each time you play a modifier card on a roll, +1 or -1 to that roll. So you really get to, like, change your outcome of what happens, whether you're rolling for your hero card or you're rolling for a monster or you're rolling for a challenge.
And it's on, like, any roll, so you can use it on other people too. Like, that's why it's also minus.
Yeah. So that's my favorite.
Okay. See, okay, now I wasn't surprised by the artwork, because we also played their other game, Unstable Unicorns, which we'll probably do an episode on at some point.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the unicorns are obviously some of the best, like, looking cards that they have, and they're really funny and stuff. But I did not think that was your favorite, like, place that was. I'll tell you which one I thought it was.
Yep.
The wizard class. So they are all bunnies, and they are all purple. That's the wizard color. Oh yeah, did you? I think you mentioned it already, but each class is color coded. but anyway, so the wizard leader is the cloaked sage, and the ability is each time you play a magic card, draw a card, which doesn't sound that great like right away, but like it's really helpful because you have to like use actions to draw cards. So like if you're constantly playing stuff, you're constantly drawing, like it's very helpful. And then the main reason I thought you liked it is not because of the leader, but because of the other cards, because
Oh, true.
they're some of the most
Yes.
powerful cards,
Oh my gosh.
also some of the most difficult to actually use, just by the nature of the game. And you seem to always have multiple every time we play.
Yes, you're right. I do always have multiple wizards. Like, because even though for like the purpose of winning the game, you only need one type of each class, but while playing the game, you're also trying to get more heroes so that you can defeat the monsters, because most of the monsters have a certain requirement of how many heroes you need, and we'll get into
Yeah,
that
we
later
can
when we
explain
talk
that
about the monsters.
with some monsters.
But so while you're playing, you still want to lay down your hero cards, like kind of whatever ones you pick up, so that you can use their abilities, because I mean every ability has a use.
Well,
Except for
my favorite card doesn't. Well, we'll get there when we get to that
we'll
class.
get there later.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there's what was I gonna say? Oh, but there's they're all oh my god, sorry, I'm like blanking on what I'm trying to say.
Are you talking about
The
wizards?
wizards, yeah. So there's a like a requirement to use skills where you have to roll the dice and hit like a certain number, and the wizards across the board have like some of, if not the highest, like there's a few that are literally the highest roll that you need.
So
Where yeah, so it's like, but it'll be like really powerful stuff. So like if you get it off, it's like, oh, destroy like 3 other heroes, or like there was one where you, I think, like steal cards from somebody.
you can like steal a hero. You can destroy
Steal a hero, that's what it was.
You can destroy someone else's.
Yeah, they're really
They're
really
really
strong, but
powerful.
very like hard to get out. So it gives you that feel of like a mage just kind of like powering up and then using like those strong spells. So like
Yeah.
you're not getting it every time, but after that charge, you finally get it off. And yeah, I don't know. I thought you liked that. I like them. I will say I think they're a staple across. Like it's good to have at least one.
Yep. But I will tell you, the reason I don't like the wizard as my party leader is because I will typically forget to use that ability.
Oh,
So even though I would
that makes
I would
sense.
have that, like I said before, it in the rules it states this, but if you forget to use the ability, you just have to keep going. You pass along it, so you can't revert back and be like, oh, I laid a magic card right before this. I'm going to draw a card. Your time came and passed. You have to keep moving on. So that's why I don't like it, because I would forget every time. So
all right. So of the remaining 4, I'm gonna just fan them out for you. Do you know which one's my favorite?
So
It's a little hard because I
you've
like
used
all 4
Yeah,
of
I was gonna
these.
say you used all of them. I know this one we haven't used that much, solely based on how
Well,
many
yeah.
players. But I think you like this one the best.
Do you want to describe it?
Okay, so this is the charismatic song. It's the leader of the bards, and they're kind of like an orange, brown, rusty color.
What's their animal?
They're squirrels. And so their effect that they do is each time you roll to use a hero's card effect, +1 to that roll. And I know that you use this one a lot.
Yeah. So okay. So it was a little bit of a trick question because I kind of have 2 favorites that I'm split between. It's the
Okay.
first one you pointed at, which I'll explain next, and then this one. So I love using the hero's abilities. So having this as my party leader is very very helpful for that. As well as I love the art of the squirrels because they're
squirrels are
really
fun.
funny looking. Like some of them are in like really funny like
They're almost-
situations or whatever. And
Yeah, they're almost all kind of follow like a Robin Hood style type.
yeah, a little bit. I mean, it's kind of like it's like Robin Hood meets like Dandelion from The Witcher. So, yeah, I don't know. That's the yeah. But do you want to hand me that card? Because
Yes.
this is my favorite card, and that's part of why I like the Bard so much. So, his name is Napping Nibbles. It's a little squirrel taking a little nap under a tree, and he's got that little like slight drool face. And his skill is if you roll a 2 or higher, so literally any roll, well, unless somebody modifies
Unless
you
you
under or
modify
something,
under 2.
you do nothing. And I love that. It's so dumb, and I love that type of like just dumb
Yeah,
humor and
it's
stuff.
it's just a hero card to have in your pile.
But okay, so I think it's kind of secret OP, and the reason why is because if somebody gets a card that's like destroy X card or like destroy this, or if somebody's gonna steal something from you or destroy something, they're gonna go and destroy like your really powerful things. No one's gonna destroy Napping Nibbles.
You're right.
Because they're like, oh, he does nothing. He's not really adding much to your team. The only reason they would is if you don't have anything or if you're literally about to win.
Yeah. Or if that's the one class that you need
Yeah.
to have to win.
Well, so that's why I'm like, I like him because it's not always, but it's basically a guaranteed card that you get to keep, even if he does nothing. I love him. And he just looks so peaceful there.
Yeah. No, very cute.
Yeah, I'll explain the next one. So this is the Shadow Claw, and the Shadow Claw is the leader of the Thief class, which I'll give you a second to guess what animal you think it might be, because it shouldn't be that surprising. It is a cat,
Yep.
as they like to steal everything from everyone all the time. But his or her, I guess, yeah, I don't know. Their ability is once per turn on your turn, so you can't do it on other people's. You may spend an action point to pull a card from another player's hand. And this is my other one that I love playing. But the thing with this one is, the rules say you can only play it with 3 or more players, and that's just for balancing. Because like we did ignore that once and try it, and it kind of ruins the game because you just constantly.
It's way overpowered with 2 people.
Yeah, you just constantly take stuff from the other person, and then they have like nothing, and it's not fun like on either side. Mm-hmm. But it is really fun in like a big multiplayer game. And that's the thing with the other cats, the other thieves, is all of them have some like type of taking people's stuff skill. So like there's one that you literally just take one card from somebody's hand. Mm-hmm. There's another one that I think, if I remember right, everyone gives you one card.
Yep, there's definitely one where everyone gives you one.
But they get to choose. Because the first one, it's like you get to look and you pick one. That one is like they pick, or they all choose. So like you get more things, but they might be bad stuff. And like, yeah. Mm-hmm. And that one's color is blue. Like a nice dark blue. Mm-hmm. You want to do this next one?
Yeah, so I'm going to talk about... I'll talk about this one first, because this one has a story with it.
Okay.
So the next class is the Rangers, and they are like a dark foresty green, and they are all foxes. And so their big thing is about attacking monsters. So for their party leader, each time you roll to attack a monster card, +1 to your roll. So that's really helpful because with the monsters, you need higher rolls to defeat them and win them.
And I will say, because I've used a few of the Rangers, some of them, like I think of all the classes, this is the one that has the most heroes that don't exactly fit the theme, like skill-wise.
Yeah.
Because there's some that are literally just like getting more cards in your hand. And that's like nice and everything, but it just doesn't quite hit that theme of like we're used to destroy monsters or to fight monsters or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I think that's also helpful because you need those cards in the game somewhere.
Yep.
And a lot of them do make sense with, like thematically, like the art style wise and everything. They make sense like with the foxes to have those types of cards. but it's just like I've just noticed that compared to some of the others where they have, I think they have the most cards that don't quite fit their theme.
Yeah.
Where like the Guardians, like they're not all about modifiers, but they all have that Guardian feel to them. You know, like
where
some of them are
they're protecting their own selves or
your party
you as a
or
player.
you or something. Yeah. Okay, so the last of the base party leaders is the Fist of Reason, and it's a fighter, and it's a bear, and their color is kind of like a orangish brown. It's
more
similar.
red.
I guess it's kind of red. I wouldn't say it's like red. It's more like a maroon.
Yeah.
Where it's kind of just like a much darker version of the bard's color. But yeah, so the Fist of Reason's skill is each time you roll to challenge, +2 to your roll. So it's really helpful for, challenging people's cards, or if somebody challenges yours. And all the cards are in that class are bears, including Panchucks. And both of these cards were the two, like both Panchucks and the Fist of Reason were the two cards that we showed to our friend Lito, who was in the first episode, to get him to want to play this game with us because he loves pandas,
Yes.
and also loves fighting. So I think it fit
worked.
well.
It worked for him. We showed him all the party leaders he could choose, and we're like, we know which one you're gonna choose.
Yeah.
And he goes, oh, okay. And as he reads, he's like, oh, okay. But
yeah, they're all really fun because like that's another one where like not all of them fit like the whole challenge thing, but all of them fit that like warrior like fighting type of spirit. Where there's some that are like you get to destroy stuff from other people, but only if they have another fighter. So it kind of gives that like I'm fighting you sort of feel to it.
Yep, where it's not super overpowered, but it works really well.
Though I will say for a party leader, this skill is one of the most like volatile, might be a good word. It's not dependent on your actions, right? I mean, it can be a little bit, but most of these are like you get to decide when it happens. This one is a lot like more often than not when somebody else challenges you, because sure you can challenge them, but then you need those cards, and there's not a ton of challenge cards in the game. I mean, there's enough, but it's just like there's definitely a chance that you won't see any for like 6 or 7 rounds, right?
Yeah.
So there's a chance that like if somebody else gets really good cards at the beginning of the game, your skill has like no meaning.
Yeah. No, and the other thing with the challenge cards is while you're playing and you challenge someone or they challenge someone else, you can only challenge each thing one time. So if you lose a challenge, you can't be like, oh, I'm going to challenge you again to try to, say, like, use the ability one more time.
Right.
It has to be, like, per action, kind of. So.
But yeah, so that's all of the main heroes. We'll explain the other two in a second, but just finishing drinks, so I think we should see if you have any more questions, and then we can go on to the next drink.
Let's see. I have a feeling that your drink is relating to something with a class. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Is it? You said it was more purple than.
I thought it was a little more purple.
Were you trying to make it more purple, or did
Not
it just end
necessarily.
out?
It just ended a little bit more purple. Than
Okay,
I thought.
I'm gonna guess you were making a drink for the fighters.
Panchucks? Oh, for the fighters in general? No.
Oh.
Here, I'll give you a small, I guess, I don't know if it's a true hint, but I'll tell you what the ingredients are.
Okay.
So, there is equal parts honey simple syrup.
Yeah.
Specifically, though, that it's important for this one that it's honey. Honey simple syrup, amaretto, cassis liqueur, so just it's blackcurrant liqueur, lime juice, oh shoot, what was the last one? Oh, chartreuse. And then the last ingredient, which it's not equal parts, but it makes the bulk of it. Cool blue Gatorade.
Okay.
Think about those.
I was gonna say, so the honey goes with.
Oh, sorry, and oh no, I said the lime juice. I also
Yeah.
just added a lime on top. I thought that was an extra
Okay.
ingredient. Sorry.
So the honey still goes with the fighter class because honey bears, but are you going for the bards?
Not quite. Okay.
No?
Here.
Okay,
let-
yeah.
You
what's
want me
going,
to?
What's going on? Yeah.
Okay. Maybe if I tell you the name of the drink, you'll
Okay.
get it. I named this drink Full Party.
Full party. Oh, so it has a color from
Each of the 6 main ones. So it's as if like that's what you need to win, right?
Okay.
So that's why I went purely off of color, and I had no idea what this was gonna taste like, and that's why I was like pleasantly surprised because I thought with just like random mix of stuff it was gonna taste bad.
Okay.
Which is why I tested it before, because if it did, I was gonna do something else.
Yeah, that makes sense on why the flavor profile is so
Really
kinda
weird.
all around, just because you added a bunch
There's
of stuff.
3 liqueurs, simple syrup, a little bit of citrus with the lime, and then Gatorade. So like it's
Yeah.
just a weird mix of stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, it's not terrible. It's just
it was
weird.
pretty good. Yeah, it's just a lot going on in your mouth.
But yeah, so I wasn't sure if you were gonna get it or not because the color also kind of
Okay.
throws it off. Where like, yeah, it looked more like either like the Fist of Reason or the Charismatic Song, where you get more of that fighter or bard color.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
it did have something from each color,
You could tell that there was green and blue in it because
Right.
of
which yeah, I guess so. I should go through everything. So it was the bard was the honey.
Yep, because it was orangish.
The fighter was the amaretto because it's more of like that darker brown red kind of. The ranger was the lime.
Yep.
Because green. The blue was obviously the Gatorade for the thieves. The mages, which are purple, that was the black currant, and then the guardians being yellow, that was the chartreuse. Because actually, the chartreuse I have is more yellow.
Yeah.
Because you can get it anywhere from like a darker green, or not dark green, but like from like a green to more of a yellow, and I just have a more yellow one. Otherwise, I would have done something else for that. But yeah,
Okay,
so
interesting.
that's my first drink. Oh well, my drink because you got the next one here.
Yeah. Yeah, let's go get that ready.
Okay, and we're back.
Yep.
Wow. That is blue. Purple? It's kind of like a bluish purple. Oh, you know what it makes me think of? Did you ever make like Jello eggs?
No.
Oh, it makes me think of those like when you make like grape Jello eggs or like blue raspberry. Either one of those. Maybe not grape. This isn't quite dark enough to be grape, but wow. I guess how would you want to describe it? Because
I mean, you're looking at it. You describe it.
well, like okay, I guess I would say it is. So it's in a wine glass. It is. I guess I'm gonna call that blue. Some sort of blue liquid. And I'm assuming it's okay. Wait, is that a tomato?
No.
Oh, okay. Maraschino cherry?
Yeah.
Okay. That one, it just looks like
Yeah,
oblong,
yours
so I
is
thought
kind of
maybe it was...
oval.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, no. So, yeah.
Good.
It has a maraschino cherry on top.
Okay. Let's test it.
Okay.
Oh, almost lost the
I
cherry.
know. I was going to say the cherries are low.
I'm going to grab the toothpick. Whoa. What am I drinking?
Yeah. What are you drinking?
Okay. It tastes...
Oh, I dropped my cherry.
Nice. It tastes kind of like, I think, vodka with some sort of... Is that like a blue raspberry flavor? Hold on. It's either blue raspberry or like a kind of, I think, bad blueberry flavor. I don't know. You don't have to tell me right now.
I'm gonna wait on the ingredients to tell you because I want you to think about it for a little bit. Because, yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just eating the cherry quick.
Yeah, drop mine.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna ask some more questions in a bit, but
Okay. Yeah, let's get to the last two party heroes that we have.
Party leaders.
So yeah, these are from the expansion pack, which is called Druids and Warriors.
can you guess what's in the pack?
One of them is the Warrior class. They are kind of like a purpley blue color, and they are
Wait,
all...
can I just hold that next to the drink quick? It's not that far off. I would not be surprised if you were doing that as the drink, but
We'll
keep
find
going.
out.
I'm gonna think about
But
it.
yes, like I said, it's a purpley blue color, and their animal is they're wolves. And so
The name of the
oh yep,
the
the
leader?
name of the leader is the Piercing Howl, and their special ability is each time you roll +1 to your roll for each item equipped to a hero card in your party.
So I think that they are a much better class for fighting monsters. Where like the ranger
Yep.
kind of had that a little bit. This has it like fully. Like it knows what it's doing. It is really, really good at fighting monsters.
Mm-hmm.
Where I think the ranger is a more rounded kind of
Yeah,
class.
which makes sense because if the ranger came with the base game, they probably
Mm-hmm.
thought, oh, we want this element of like really fighting the monsters, so
Right.
maybe we'll add it this way through the items. But I think that's the tricky part is with this hero or with the party leader, you need to have items on your heroes to be able to use its ability. So, which can be kind of tricky. It's kind of just dependent on how your cards are shuffled. Because I know for me, I'll either get a ton of item cards, have like no heroes to put them on because they either have an item or I just don't have any more heroes because I'm not dealt any, or you just won't get an item card as you're like drawing them.
Well, and one thing I wanted to point out, which I'm currently trying to find one of the fighters. That's not one with it.
Oh, yes.
Oh, here's one. So each hero that you have, it can only have one item on it, and the only exception to that are some of the warriors, not all, but some. They'll have this little symbol in the bottom right, where, well, actually, I guess it's two symbols, where it looks like a little like diamond, like almost like a diamond inside another diamond, like
Yep.
like if you made like a little sketch of how a diamond would look like from the top down with like a cut diamond with like its like edges and stuff. That's kind of what it looks like, it just means that it has two item slots, so you can put multiple items on it specifically for the purposes of like this type of ability where it's like you get extra damage to monsters, or not damage, but extra chance to destroy them based on your items. So
Though
it helps you get there faster.
it's definitely also helpful not just for defeating the monsters,
true.
but for challenging or for.
It's each time you
it's
roll, no matter what.
It's rolling for your hero's
Oh.
abilities too. So if you have, say, one of the wizard heroes, which typically needs a higher roll to use its ability, if you have a bunch of items, you're almost guaranteed to then hit that roll unless people modify you down. So I feel like this is definitely, we don't use this one as much.
No,
We definitely should.
we definitely should. I think the times that I've wanted to is when we play with our friends who haven't played this, so we let them pick first.
Yep.
So I'm like, oh, I might try the warrior this time, and then somebody takes it. I'm like, yeah, okay, I guess I'll do the bard again, or like,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, it's definitely a very, very good one. And it's actually it kind of is interesting where it like to play against somebody using it, you don't necessarily need to remove their heroes if you can remove their items, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, because I know there's certain items, I think, too, where, I mean, if you destroy a hero, like, the items are gone. But if you steal a hero, the items come with it.
True.
So for this class, that would be also really good to steal other people's heroes that have items on it, because then that just adds more to your abilities.
And another thing is it also discourages you from putting bad items on theirs.
Yes.
Because that could help them. So I mean, like, it could still be helpful in some situations, but it makes it a lot more of a give and take like choice.
Yep.
So actually, okay, the last one is probably my favorite from like a game mechanic design standpoint. It's the Noble Shaman, and it's the Druid class. The Druids are all I don't know the official like word for it, but it's not just deer. It's like deer and moose and elk and
They all have antlers.
anything with antlers. But there's got to be some sort of like
Yeah, there's some sort of animal
family class like for yeah. I can't think of what it is, but anyway, so they're all or all the druids are related, kind of similar to the sorry. This skill is very helpful for the druids in kind of a unique way, where the skill is once per turn on each player's turn, you may choose any player's roll -1 to that roll. So initially, you'd think like you can just use that against other people, like when they're trying to do something. But the thing that's really interesting is the druids. I'll hold up a card for people that are watching, but for anyone that's not, all of the druids have a skill that instead of rolling and hitting above a certain number, you have to hit below a certain number. And so using that ability on your own druids is very, very helpful to get lower. And it makes the modifiers like completely reversed, right? So like you have to get like this one was below 7, and then you sacrifice one of your hero cards, and then you can either do plus or -5 to the next or to each of your rolls for the next turn. So like there's like a huge cost to that specific ability, and it's a really niche, like you have to get below instead of above. And then on top of that, it just gives you better rolls for the rest of your turn. So it's like, I don't know, they have a unique play style that I really like. I think they're one that I'm not good at using, but I want to learn how, because I think they're really cool.
Yeah, I was going to say, I definitely think the druids, I like using them. I like that ability of needing something different compared to everything else that needs higher numbers where they need lower numbers. I think the issue is that with all of the other cards that are trying to aim for higher numbers, the druids kind of get left out because they're the only thing that needs lower numbers.
Right, like they will clash with other ones. So it's like they're really good if you're going with a lot of other druids, but they're really bad if you're trying to mix them in with other stuff. Where you'll have stuff like say if you had some druid cards but you were using the warrior as your party leader, those fully conflict because now all of your cards are getting +1 to the roll, but you need minus. So like, yeah, they have some niche usages. I think they're really good if you're not going for a win by class, but a win by killing monsters, because then you can just go all in on the druids, which I have not really tried, but I want to.
No, and I mean, it's definitely hard to like try to strategize what you're going to do on how you want to win the game, because with the rules of the game, it's specifically get all of the classes or defeat the monsters. And
the rules of the duel. Do you remember that Clash commercial? Oh, okay. No. It's an old Clash Royale commercial. I'm sure some people out there are going to remember it. I also can't roll my R's, so I can't do it justice, but yeah. Oh, sorry. Totally derailed that.
But yeah, I don't know. It's just, I like the druids. I like their mechanics.
Oh, and the other thing I was going to say is with the addition of these two classes, they changed the rules. So if you're playing with this expansion, instead of needing 6 or all 6 classes to win, they make it 7. So because it's easier to get different classes, you know, because that's part of the challenge in the base game is like, oh, I have 5 of them, but I keep pulling bards, so I'm not getting the 5th one, right? Where in this, it's like, okay, well, you can't get a guardian, but, well, now you got a druid and you got a warrior. So, like, it'd be way too easy to get to 6, so they make it 7, but obviously they didn't make it 8, and I think the reason why is because it would be way too hard.
The same instance of it's too hard because the pack itself adds more modifiers and I think a few more challenges and item cards.
And some more monsters.
Yep.
I think it was 2 more or something.
Yep. And so it adds more across all the boards, so your chances of getting all 8 classes is significantly
The game would take
lower.
a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and then the other expansion, again, like we don't have it, but I can only assume it just raises that by 1 more because it adds 2 more
Yep.
classes there.
Yep.
But actually, I guess, you know, maybe we could go into like our own variants that we...
Like our play styles?
Yeah, well, I guess that too. I was thinking, so just, okay, because we were talking about the different classes and stuff. When Deidra and I play 1v1, sometimes we, like, after playing it for a while, you get, like, not necessarily bored, but you just want to, like, change it up and stuff. So we've made our own, like, victory conditions. One of them was literally just you have to get all 8 in order to win, which that made the game take a lot longer, but we had, like, a ton of time, so it was still fun. Or the other thing we did was you either have to destroy 3 monsters or get the full party. We said that you have to do both. And that also took a really long time, but again, it was fun because we wanted it to take longer.
Yeah, we wanted it to take longer because it felt like during the like regular games where you're only going off of those 2 winning conditions, you had to, like, they didn't take as long because sometimes some people would get really lucky and they'd get all their heroes right away, or they'd roll really good like numbers when fighting the monsters, so you just kind of ended, and so we weren't able to see the abilities of a lot of the cards or how they worked, and we weren't able to use them because there's a lot of cards in the deck. So.
Which, yeah, that's not, I guess, you know, necessarily a bad thing, but it's just we specifically wanted to make it longer and wanted to see more of that in one individual game, not like across games. And again, nothing like wrong with that either, because like we also play it like the normal way, and we'll go through faster games and stuff so that we can play it like more times. But yeah, no, I don't know. It was just like a fun way to we just mixed up the game a bit.
Yeah, just try something new.
Try our own thing.
It definitely works.
We also tried making it you have to kill 4 monsters instead of 3 and like stuff like that. Like we just kept we've changed the victory conditions a few times. But yeah, it's fun. Yeah. You know what I just thought we should try sometime is play it as if there were 4 players, but each of us controlled 2.
Oh.
I'm curious how that would go.
Yeah, if we just had
almost
2
be like teams,
separate decks.
basically. Yeah.
Yeah, because then, I mean, you could potentially help out yourself twice by, like, I'm going to sacrifice this deck over here so that I can make this one super powerful.
Okay. Question on the drink. Can you tell me how many ingredients are in it? Sorry, I just took another sip to retest.
3 ingredients, with the 4th being the cherry.
Okay, I was actually going to guess 3. Is it... Are the ingredients vodka, some sort of liqueur, and lime juice?
No. Well,
Shoot.
Yeah, no, not...
Did I get some of those, but just not all? Is that why you're...
Yeah,
okay.
You got 2 right.
Is one of them the lime juice?
No.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So vodka is one of them. Is it just plain vodka?
No.
Sky blue.
No.
UV blue.
Yes.
Figured one of the blues.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, that's the like weird, almost stale taste that I have is the UV blue.
Yeah, UV
okay.
blue.
Well, I guess that explains some of the blue. Did you also use Gatorade?
No.
Okay, that'd be funny.
No, I did not.
Okay, another question. Is the cherry crucial, or was that just for garnish, like decoration?
No, it definitely has a purpose.
It has a shoot, okay. Blue, all blue, one little thing of red.
I can see the gears turning. How about you think about that for a little bit and let's move on to our next topic.
Is it one of the monsters?
Yeah, so let's get into the monsters.
I know which one it is. All right.
So we've talked about this before, but to defeat each monster, you need a certain amount of heroes, and then you need to hit a certain roll, which they're all very different. And after you get the monster, then you get a special ability that really helps your team.
Also, so just to like reiterate or like maybe clarify, so what she was talking about with needing a certain amount of heroes and stuff is to even have a chance to attack the monster, each one has its own requirement. So for instance, like the very basic ones, it's literally one hero. So you just need one member in your party.
That is not your party leader.
Not your party leader. You need an actual like hero out, and then you can fight it. Some of them, like the Mega Slime, needs 4 heroes. So you obviously need a lot of things out there. But then there's some like the Malamammoth that needs 1 hero and 1 ranger. So now it's interesting because if your leader is a ranger, that will fulfill that requirement, but then you still need 1 other hero. So if you have the ranger, you essentially only need 1 hero to fight it, but everyone else needs 2 because they need 1 of them to be the ranger. So yeah, they all have like you were saying, very unique, different. Like there's some that are pretty similar, but there's a lot that are very unique and different from each other for just the requirements themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And then, do you want to talk about like how you fight it?
Yeah. So on your turn, like with the rules, you get 3 action points per turn, and you can use those however according to what you want to. So to fight a monster, you need 2 action points. So when you do that, you roll the dice, and then dependent on what your numbers that come up are, you either slay the monster, or you do the negative effect.
Or nothing happens.
Yes, there are a bunch where there's a middle ground where just nothing happens.
Each one is different. They have different floors, different ceilings, and different in-betweens.
Mm-hmm. And so to slay the monster, if you don't hit that requirement of needing that certain number, that's when the modifiers come in. That's when your hero's abilities come in, which you kind of have to plan for using that. So if you're like, I want to slay a monster on this turn, I know this hero has this ability where I can add 1 for rolling, so I'm going to make sure on my first time I do this, and then I do this. And you still may not get it. But
Right. Well, yeah, because other people might mess with you too, and maybe you just rolled bad, or you know.
Yeah.
Well, and then so just to show some of the diversity of the outcomes. So one of the monsters, I just pulled out 3 here. One of them, to slay it, you have to roll 8 or higher. If you roll 4 or lower, you discard 2 cards, and then anything in between that. So 5, 6, 7, nothing happens. For this other one, if you roll 8 or higher, you slay it. But if you roll 7 or lower, you sacrifice a hero. So that one's literally either you make it or you don't. It's literally either you make it or something bad happens to you. And then this one, which
this is the only
one that does this.
But it's because it's from the expansion.
Yeah. His name's Dracos. And 5 or less, you slay the monster. And an 8 or higher, you sacrifice a hero card. So it's the only one that's reversed, where you want a low roll. And the reason is so that it gives a little bit of
advantage to the druids.
Advantage, yeah.
Because
synergy. Synergy is the word I was trying to think of.
Gotcha. But
because you were saying.
Oh, because so the druids, they all -1. But yeah, I like that element though too. Like I like the druids because they're so unique, and that monster, I'm pretty sure every time we've played, we've had that one
we
come
get
up.
it almost every time. If not every. Yeah, it's crazy.
So with that, we know you either need a bunch of like -4 negative modifiers, or you need to have the druids to help you.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it definitely adds like a unique element. Which I wish there was a little bit more of that in the game.
Well,
but
that's what I'm like hoping for in the other expansion that we don't have. Or also, I believe last we checked, they said they were making another expansion.
I
We
assume
just
so.
obviously don't know yet. Okay, so with the monsters, I was flipping through them real quick. Was your drink the Abyss Queen?
That is what I was going for.
So, to describe it to everyone else, the Abyss Queen is basically just a giant spider, and its artwork is a huge blue spider with glowing red eyes, and then it's got like a little red mark on its back that looks more like eyes, kind of similar to like how a Black Widow has that little thing, but just instead of being that almost like hourglass shape, it's just like another set of eyes. So, okay, that makes sense. The blue and the red.
Yep, you got it.
Okay, so now that I've guessed that, what are the ingredients? Like, what are the actual ingredients?
So I'll start with the name first because it does kind of tie in. This is called, the name doesn't really match with the ingredients, but whatever. This is a royal blue martini. So royal Abyss Queen.
Oh, so okay. I see.
So that was if you wouldn't have guessed it, that would have been one of my hints.
The
name, because it definitely gives a little bit away of what I was going for.
Oh, I see it.
Yeah, so the ingredients are UV blue, blue curacao, and blue raspberry soda.
No, okay.
So it's all blue.
Dang! Oh, I like that.
And then I did
that's how I got the blue raspberry.
to make it kind of a darker blue, because all those are kind of like a bright. I added some blue food coloring and then like 1 drop of red to get just more of like a darker,
deeper.
Yeah,
sure.
just because I would assume if you wanted to make this and you had it, you could use a dark blue food coloring and get the same effect. But the food coloring is optional. It was more just for a visual.
Yeah, just for the visual. Well, actually, so I found that monster by accident while I was searching for Taratuga, because in my head I was thinking, okay, blue monster, blue monster, blue monster, and the first one that popped in my mind is this one. It's a giant blue like tortoise. Honestly, the best way to describe it, it kind of looks like an angry Blastoise. Its whole thing is that it's really, really hard to kill, but then if you do kill it, your hero cards can't be destroyed. So
you kind of win the game if you.
Yeah, it's kind of like
you have to fulfill the rest of the requirements to win the game.
Right. But like you have, it's really hard to stop you from doing anything then, right? Like people can still steal your heroes, but they can't.
Yeah, and you can add items onto like negative items or to try to affect it,
But it's funny because I was thinking of making a drink like related to Taratuga, so I almost made something very similar to this.
Okay, which I got nervous because after I saw you use the blue Gatorade yesterday, I was like, "Oh, is he doing a blue drink too?"
Yeah, I was not. I made a abomination of color.
A good tasting abomination.
Yeah, it reminded me a lot of like when you're a kid and you go to like a fast food restaurant and you just go up and you go and like fill it a little bit with every single.
Yeah, or like water when you're watercolor painting and then you dip
your
paintbrush in and it just drips off every color.
Yes. Yep.
Definitely looked like that. Not as gross, but but yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah. This isn't bad. Like
no, it's I definitely used. I mean, it's UV blue, but
yeah, I think honestly, if I were to try to improve this in any way, it would like the first thing I would do is just go with a different vodka, right? Like
yeah, I think the blue raspberry flavor can come out in the soda itself.
Sure, but again, that's only to improve like flavor, like the looks wise. I think and like theme and everything. I think UV blue fits way better.
Yeah.
So like perfect for this. That was a really good one. Yeah, so maybe we should just finish these quick and do the next drink.
Yeah, and then we'll finish up with our topics.
Okay, we'll be right back. Okay, and we're back again. I should quick note here, our neighbor's dog is barking, so if you hear that, sorry.
Yep.
Hopefully it's not too loud. But anyways, you made the third drink here,
Yes,
right?
I made our third drink.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say I can describe it quick. It is pink, and there's just an ice cube in the middle. It doesn't matter. It's just to keep it cool.
Okay.
So.
Okay, but it's just a very pink something. The color. Okay, best way to describe the color: if you get like a pink lemonade somewhere, that's what it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of tastes like. Did you use pink lemonade to make this?
I did.
Okay, that explains the color.
I did use pink lemonade.
Well, so okay, let me think about the drink a little more. But
I was gonna say thoughts on it. Like,
oh yeah, I guess
you said,
I
you
should.
said you tasted the pink lemonade.
Yeah, let me taste it again. Do you want to describe like kind of flavor that you
Yeah,
taste?
I mean, definitely pink lemonade, very fruity. Like, I tend to go more towards the fruitier drinks that aren't so, like, alcohol heavy, just because that's what I typically
I
like
know
to
what
drink.
alcohol you put in here. I taste a little bit of coconut, so I'm assuming Malibu.
Yes.
Okay. Which is also one of your favorites.
Yep.
If not your favorite.
Yep, this is definitely something I would drink.
Okay. Yeah, no, I like it. It's not bad.
I know, I think the tartness of the strawberry lemonade, like, pulls a lot away from the sweetness of, like...
The Malibu?
Yeah.
Sure. Are those the only two ingredients?
Yes.
Okay. This might take me a bit to figure out what it's supposed to be. Oh, I have an idea. But let me think about it.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I thought maybe like it'd be fun to talk about any like memorable stories we had from playing this.
Yeah. So I guess to start off, like we said, we played a lot of it, the two of us. And the reason for that is because he had a concussion.
Yeah, how did I get that concussion?
In the early mornings of the day, while I was getting ready for work, we were both very asleep, and I leaned over and I accidentally clonked him in the head with my elbow.
Yeah, so it was like really bad timing of like she turned
Well,
and
you
right as
sat
she was
up.
turning back, I was sitting up and it was just like her elbow came right like like neither of us was moving that fast, but it was together. Like it was her elbow moving and my eye coming up. And yeah, it was right in my eye. And I just kind of clunked back and I didn't like pass out or anything, but it just laid there in pain for a bit and then went back to sleep for like 10
Yeah,
minutes.
because this was also at like...
It was like 6 in the morning. It was really early. Because it was when she was getting up earlier for work than I was. So I still had like an hour or something like that.
I don't think... You didn't have to work that day.
That's
'Cause we
what it
were off.
was. Yes. But you had work.
I had to work, and
Yeah.
you didn't.
Yeah, so I was just going to sleep for like a few more hours. And then turned out I was going to sleep for a lot more. No, just kidding. But yeah, so that gave me a concussion.
It gave him a concussion, and so we couldn't play any video games. We couldn't really watch any TV. So we were trying to figure out what else we could do to pass our free time, and we were looking through our games and saw, oh, this is we can really play this with only two people.
Well, yeah, because we have a lot of board games because both of us really like board games. But the problem is a lot of the ones we have are meant for groups of 3 or more.
You need a lot of people.
Yeah. So we couldn't really play a lot, like just the two of us. And we have like a few that you can, but a lot of them are like fun for like 2-3 rounds and they're like 5-10 minute games or something. But then, yeah, we saw this and like we had like just gotten this game too. Like,
Yeah,
I think we played it once before.
I bought it on Black Friday, and so it came, and then this was right after New Year's that
Yeah, so like we only had like the one chance to play it, or maybe two chances
Yeah.
before, and then yeah, we had a good amount of time to be able to play this because I was off for quite a few more days of work after that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was still fun, and that's where we came up with a lot of the variants and stuff because. Again, we played it a lot, so after a while, we were just like, okay, we need to change some stuff up and make it like different every time we play it, or like vastly different every time we play it.
Yeah, for the winning conditions, and I mean, we also came up with some ideas of what we would want to add to the game.
True. Do you want to tell them the one that you were telling me earlier about the monster?
Yeah, so it kind of ties in with the Dracos monster that needs a lower number to slay it. But I think it would be really cool if just some of the requirements to slay it would be different, like whether that's different, like how many monsters you need to get it, or if there were more monsters that to slay it you needed a lower number, or it'd be cool if like that middle spot where if you either slay it or like something negative happens, that middle spot, if that was how you slayed it, you had to get you had to get 4 to 7 to slay the monster. If you got lower or higher, you wouldn't get it.
So wait, okay, you could have a lot of fun with that.
Yeah.
Because you could do like if you get under 4, because like there's not as many chances, like you lose a hero. But then if you get over like 7, you lose 2 cards or something. So like they're both negative, but one of them is way worse than the other. Mm-hmm. Oh, that would be interesting.
Yeah. I think that because the requirements of how to slay it are so just kind of across the border of almost all of them, you need to get a certain number or higher.
Yeah.
So
and like
because a lot of
they're
times,
different values for each one and stuff, but like yeah, they're all basically variants of the same thing.
Yeah, because it seems like a lot of times you need to either plan out, all right, I need to use this hero's ability. I need to make sure I have modifiers so that if I don't get it, I can get this monster, which that takes up a lot of time of your game and pre-planning, and it's that part of what cards you get is up to chance. So
Sure.
you might not be able to, or you have to use a bunch of like magic cards to discard, or you're like, oh shoot, none of my cards work, so now I have to discard my whole hand to start all over.
I just thought, you know, it would be interesting with like kind of related to that. What if you had like on just like a few of the monsters chances where like say if you lose, there's 2 different options for losing. One is if you have just for like everyone, and one is like if you have a mage, this is the negative thing.
Oh, so kind
like,
of like the requirements for needing a certain class.
Yeah, but instead of for winning, or instead of for
you have a
fighting,
it's class, you get something negative that happens.
Yeah, and maybe it's like, ooh, and actually it could be used for the positive and the negative. So maybe it's like, if you have a mage, you only have to roll an 8 or higher, but if you don't, you need to roll a 10 or higher.
Oh.
And then for like the negatives, it might like lower that or something, or it could literally change the outcome. Like maybe it's like, say you don't get it and you don't have a mage, you like discard your whole hand. And then say on the flip side, you have a mage, it's like, okay, you just discard 1 card or something. So the idea is like, oh, the mage was able to protect us more or something. Like,
yeah.
No,
I like that variation just because I think that adds a lot more of needing to get a variety of cards to help your hand. Or yeah, or like, because so when you played, you have 3 monsters that are out there that you could fight. So then that really helps be like, oh, well, shoot, to fight this one, I have to do this first.
Mm-hmm. Well, and then actually, we were talking about this a little bit earlier too. I had an idea for the different requirements, similar to like that, but just it'd be kind of the same idea, but just earlier, like on the front end. Where so for the requirements to fight one, we were telling you like, you know, sometimes you need a certain class and like a certain amount of heroes or something. But I was thinking, what if you needed like say 3 specific classes? So you need like a mage, a bard, and a warrior. So then when you're Oh, no. Yeah, maybe not warrior, because then you wouldn't be able to use it with the base game. So maybe it'd have to be fighter was the other one I was thinking. But anyways, so then what I'm thinking is that would be more of like a late game monster, because it's like, well, obviously you're not going to have that early on. So then later, like when you have like the full party trying to hit 7 or something, where it's like, that takes a while.
Yep.
So like, let's say you have like 5 out there and I have 5 out there. But your 5 don't include one of the 3 required and mine do. Well, now, even though we both have huge parties, I'm the only one that can fight that.
You can only fight it, so then I would have to try to make sure you either don't get that monster until I can try,
Right.
or... Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be an interest... I like that mechanic.
Yeah. And then something else I was thinking with that, because then I was thinking, like, it could be hard to balance the game of, like, say there was a bunch of monsters like that and you just flip 3 of them right at the beginning. Well, now everyone's screwed, right? So to avoid that, maybe there could be a separate type of monster that's like a big monster or something, or like a, I don't know what you would call it. But so you would flip your normal 3, and then there would be a separate deck, and you flip just 1. And so then there could be 4 monsters out there, the 3 normal ones, and then one of these like really hard requirements to fight it.
Yeah, like
and
specifics.
probably also really hard to fight. Maybe not. I don't know, like how they'd want to balance it.
Yeah,
but
I'd wonder how that would be balanced, because the requirement to fight it would be pretty hard. So then I almost feel like I wonder if to equal that out, you would make the requirements to slay it a little bit easier.
I guess I could see it going either way. I could see them playing with it where they're like, okay, in order to fight this, you need 3 different classes, like specific ones, and then just making it like a normal monster to fight. But then I could also see them going like, okay, you need 5 to fight this one, but it's really easy to beat. Or even like, okay, you need 2 and maybe like some random, like, so maybe it's like you need 2 specific classes and like 1 more hero or something. But it's like kind of hard to fight. So it's like easier for people to get to earlier, but it's harder. And then like I'm thinking they would all have bigger rewards and stuff.
Yeah.
And I just thought of another thing for that. I think a way to make it like not like available right away. The first time you flip one would be after the first monster is defeated by anybody.
Yeah, I like that part.
So then it's like everyone's fighting for those first 3 and not thinking like, okay, I'm gonna build for this other one. And then once one's beaten, you would flip that and you'd be like, oh shoot, I should have done this before, or like it just adds that extra.
Try to strategize and plan for it a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I like that.
But yeah, and then I know we've talked about before like how Dracos has like the minus. Like I think they should add at least 1 more monster like that.
Yeah.
Just specifically for the druid, even where it's like, I don't know, like it's hard for them to use their ability to fight others.
Yeah, and I wouldn't even say like necessarily like, yes, definitely for the druids, but also sometimes you just get really bad luck.
That's true too. If you're rolling really bad over and over and over, you might be discouraged from fighting like the monsters. But maybe you look at that one and you're like, oh well, I'll try it on that because I keep rolling crap anyways. Like
or if you have a bunch of minus cards and you're like, ooh,
true.
I can definitely use all these modifiers right here, and I can slay this monster.
Right? No, I think that'd be cool.
Yeah, I know. It's always the times of when you need the high numbers, you don't get them. Or when you need, like, when you only need 5, that's pretty easy to get. And you get, like, 12.
Yeah, no, I hate that. It's like the times that you get the really good rolls, you didn't need it. Like when you're using, what's his name again? Napping Nibbles.
Napping Nibbles, and you
just need a 2, and then he does nothing, and you get a 12, and you're like, oh, wish I would have done any other ability.
Yeah.
What was the other? Oh, the other thing I think they should add, which I'm sure they probably will, is just more magic cards and more items.
Yeah, like a more variety, because I think that, like, they have, like, an okay amount, but in some sense, they kind of all do the same thing.
You know what would be cool? So this expansion added 2 more classes and then like a few more of like there was some modifiers and some challenges that are specifically related to these classes, and then there's like some other magic cards and stuff. So there's like and then like 2 more monsters, or maybe it was 3. But either way, they add like a little bit of everything with the classes, and then I'm assuming the other expansion is probably similar.
Yep, it looked about the same.
I think it would be cool if they added an expansion that was just more magic cards and more items, and they could literally call it like a stuff and things pack.
Okay.
Right? Because all the other ones, it's druid and warrior, and then the other one was necromancers and
berserkers.
So this one could be stuff and things, and so the things are the items and the stuff is the magic. So yeah, I was like, that'd be fun, and then like have like unique ones that you can only get in that pack or something.
Yeah, because I know with their other game, Unstable Unicorns, one of the like packs that we got for it was pretty much just repeated cards from like their base game. So
there was like a couple other ones, but
new ones, but
most of them were
pretty much just made duplicates of unique cards from the base.
Right. Like just to have more chance to get those in the games. Yeah. But yeah, so I think that could be like a cool, like I feel like that'd be easy for them to kind of go wild and have some like random ideas where they're like, oh, well, this doesn't really fit with any class or something. They could just throw it into one of those cards.
Yeah.
No, and then similar, they could do something with monsters. They could have like a monsters only pack or something. Mm-hmm. Kind of like farmers only.
Oh my god.
But no, I don't know. What could that be? Like monsters and minions. I don't know what a minion would be in regards to this game, but I'm just trying to think of like a something and something. No,
that would be cool. Honestly, like just saying the minions, that'd be cool if they added a whole new type of card.
True.
That did something where it's almost like a negative item, but when you pull it, you just have to immediately play it or something.
Oh.
And it's like, but it could be like a short term, like only for this turn, -1 to all your everything.
In the game Munchkin, which I don't think you said you've played.
I have not played it yet.
For anyone that's played it, they might know what I'm talking about, but for anyone that hasn't, in Munchkin, it's another card game, but when you flip a card, there's a chance that it's a curse card, and if it's a curse card, it happens immediately. Well, okay, without getting into specifics, there's a way that it does and there's a way that it doesn't, but anyways, there's a chance that when you flip a card, it's a curse card, and it just instantly harms you in some way. And sometimes there's ways to break it, like right off the bat or something, but a lot of times it's just something negative, and you're like, well, crap. Like, so that could be what this is, like what you're saying is like you draw a card, and you're like, ah, man, it's a minion, and you throw it down, and it does something.
Yeah. No, I like that. I like that idea, because I think that this game, like we said multiple times, it's very fun, but it just needs a few more variables to it. To, at least for us. I think for the general, like, population that would play this game, it's a very good game.
Yeah, I think the only reason that we want more is because we've played it so much. Like, we literally have played it, like, hundreds of hours.
Yeah, and especially for 2 people.
Yes. Oh, that's the other thing, is if you play with multiple people, there's a lot more variance. Like, when you're playing, like, when the 2 of us are playing, it's like you know what the other person's gonna do roughly, right? But even just, like, 3 people, it's like Deidra and I might be going hard against each other, and then all of a sudden, like, Greg over there just throws something down and wins, and you're like, oh, well, we were ignoring you. So, like, it just adds that dynamic where you have to do different stuff.
Yeah.
So maybe that's something they could add, is something that's specific to 2-player games. Mm-hmm. Like, maybe there's cards that do one action if it's more than 2, and then another action if it's only 2.
Yeah.
You know, like maybe it's random if it's 2, but if it's more than 2, you get to choose what happens or something like that. And I don't know, just something to like make it harder to predict for 2 people.
No, that'd be cool.
Which actually, so the 2 of us playing a lot, I guess we could talk a little bit about our specific play styles.
Yeah.
Do Do you know how like you would describe yours?
So
Or
I guess
do you want to describe each other's?
So I'll kind of describe mine and
Okay.
then try to describe yours,
Okay.
and you can
And
then
then I'll do the same.
So I would say my play style is definitely. I said this with describing my favorite party leader is the modifiers. I really like to use those to. I more use them to try to help myself, but then when see fit, I also screw over other people because I'm like, I don't want you to get this because then you'll win or you'll have a higher chance to win. You'll be way ahead of me. I don't want that. So I definitely like the modifiers a lot. Yeah. I would say the modifiers are like my main play style is I'm always trying to get modifiers. I'm always trying to use them. Well, also then I typically try to get the variants of heroes that you need to win that way, but I also try to slay the monsters. I think I tend to like not slay monsters as much as I should.
Okay.
I think the other thing too is I think I get discouraged because if I try to slay a monster and I don't get it, then I'm like, well, shoot, I don't want to try that again and lose another card.
Sure.
But yeah.
I think I'm similar in the not slaying many monsters. I think typically I go for the get every class victory. Similar to you, I think I view it as being easier to do, but after we're like going through this, I'm realizing like maybe the strategy is because in my mind when I was doing it, I was thinking you just build towards getting every single class and then at the same time try to kill monsters, right? And so then it's like, oh, whichever one happens first, I win. But what I'm realizing is I think the way that you should go about getting monsters is maybe you pick like one or two classes and focus in on those. But probably specific classes because like the warrior would be really good for that. The fighter might be okay for that. Like some of their the heroes would be good for it.
Yeah.
The ranger would be good for it. The druids all together could be really good for it and stuff like that. So I'm like, maybe you go like that route and you just try to laser focus on like one or two classes and go for monsters. But I haven't done that.
Yeah, we definitely haven't played a monster-focused game.
No, I will say
At least between the two of us.
True. I think you kill more monsters than I do typically.
Yeah.
Not that we both like. I don't think either of us kill like a ton of them, but I think that you go for it a little more than I do. But then I also think that I do more of the skills from the heroes than you do.
Yes, you definitely do, and I think
I love doing
I think
the skills.
that for me is a luck-based thing because I try to do the skills and I always don't get them.
Fair.
Especially because it takes a certain you only get so many chances to use them in your turn. So it's like I want to use this one. I didn't get it. I really want to use this one. I didn't get it again. Well, now what do I do?
Sure. No, okay, that makes sense. I guess in my mind, I always view it as like, okay, I like all of these three are really hard to do. I'm gonna try one of them, and it doesn't go. Then I'm like, shoot. Okay, I'll just go with one of these that's like really easy, so I could get something, you know. And then I just do that like a couple times, or like it's easier in a multiplayer game if everyone else is kind of fighting each other, and I'm like, okay, well, no one's doing anything to mess with me. I'm just going to use all my chances this turn on like these hard ones to get because then if one of them lands, I get something awesome. And if not, everyone will think I did nothing. Like, you know, so
yeah, it's definitely easier with more people to kind of stay a little bit more hidden, especially when other people are like fighting.
Like Joe.
Yeah. So, there was one time when we played and this was I guess a little bit after we got really into the game of playing it a lot between the two of us. And we were like, oh, finally, we're going to have people over. We have lots of people to play the game with. And so we taught everyone how to play the game and we started. And while we were in it, I think the two of us were still just kind of like in that mindset of, oh, we're fighting
just screw
against
each other over. Yeah.
And there were, I think, 3 or 4 other people
There was
playing.
a lot. I think that was the time we had,
And
I think
so,
7.
But so then, while we were playing, our friend Joe, he was just kind of sitting there, like, playing along with. All of a sudden, because all of us were focused over here, all of a sudden, he just got hero after hero after hero. And then because of that, then he was able to also slay the monsters and slay this monster. And we're like,
Yeah.
well, Joe just won.
It was literally
everything.
Like, yeah, it was like everyone turns at the same time. Oh, okay. like it was, yeah.
How'd you get that? Oh, well, I did the what? How'd you do that? I just did this. And it's like, you just won the game because no one else was paying attention to what you were doing, because we were also laser focused on trying to make each other lose.
Or, speaking of make each other lose,
Oh gosh,
the exact opposite. Our friend Lito, who's made, well, I guess by name, he's made an appearance in all 3 episodes so far. But he was playing this with us. And so, okay, so a little bit of backstory. We played Unstable Unicorns with him, and there was this long chain of like probably like 4, maybe 5 turns for like everyone around where he just couldn't do anything. Like everyone shut down everything he was doing. So he literally just didn't get turns for like 4 or 5 in a row, maybe even more. I can't remember. But anyways, then another time, or maybe it was later that visit, we were playing this. And we basically just did the same thing. Everyone targeted him because we were like, oh, that was funny when we didn't let him play the game. So we just all were doing the same thing. Mm-hmm. And he was just not having it. But then, well, I mean, like, you know, like he was a good sport and everything, but it was just like guys, let me do something. And then I can't remember, did he win that? Or he did something that was really impressive.
It was just because his party leader was like the fighter class.
Oh, yeah.
So
That's what it was.
Every single, because we were targeting him, he was like, well, I gotta get you guys back somehow. So every single thing other people were doing, whether it was like slaying a monster or laying down heroes, he was just like, nope, and would challenge every single thing we did.
I don't know if he was stocking them up or something, or maybe if he got like a new hand.
I don't know.
It was like this long period where like he was just getting beat down, and then all of a sudden like 2 turns in a row, it's just like, nope, challenge, nope, challenge, nope, challenge. It's like, oh, okay,
so
like
then,
we can't do anything now.
So then our next turn is like, well, do I even try to play this because I'm not gonna be able to?
Yeah, no, it was fun.
Yeah, I like that variation of, just I like adding the different party leaders for multiple people.
Yeah.
Because that adds another variable of, oh, what will happen this way? What will happen this way?
But yeah, I don't know. I think all around it's a very fun game that I really like.
Highly recommend.
Okay, so we're kind of getting to the end of my drink's almost done. Mm-hmm. So okay.
I see you pulled out a card.
I did. So before I talk about the card, is the look of this drink specific to why it relates to the game?
No.
Oh. Okay, that is not what I was expecting.
No, so explain what you were thinking.
So I pulled up a modifier card, and each modifier card, they are all different potions, right? And the one that I found was this very, very pink one, which I thought for sure is what you were trying to replicate, but I guess I'm wrong.
Yeah, and so I'm going to be honest. When I was trying to figure out this other drink, I was like, ooh, I could do a modifier because it's a potion. It looks like a drink. I'm like, that's too easy.
Okay.
So
give me a hint.
I'm just going to say nothing about the drink besides one small thing, I guess, relates to the game.
What?
So, nothing visually, I should say.
Okay. I see.
Nothing visually about the drink relates to the game.
Is it the flavor?
I would say the flavor could.
Okay. Is it the name?
It's the name.
It's the name. Okay.
So I can't really...
So you can't tell me the name unless it would give it away.
It'll
Can you give me another hint? That's not the name.
So, I mean, yeah.
Actually, okay, here, question. Is it related to a specific card? Or like a grouping of cards or something? Is it another class?
Yeah.
Is it the cats?
No.
Oh.
No. I did. So we have a fun little ice maker, and it makes
Well, not ice maker, but
ice maker.
ice.
It's an ice mold.
Mold.
And it makes these really large cats that are like just kind of laying there all cute. So before doing this, I'm like, oh my god, I didn't even think about using the cat ice cubes to make a cat drink.
So then I thought maybe that's why you were going for it.
No,
Okay.
I saw the cats and I said I wanted to use them.
Sweet. Pink lemonade and Malibu. Is this a drink I should know?
No.
Okay. Pink unicorn. Is something related to unicorns?
It is not.
Dang it. Okay, can you give me another hint?
I would say the pink is like, I guess, one of the parts that's kind of correct, but I would just say, I don't know, the drink is just, it's kind of fun.
Kind of fun?
It's kind of cute.
I'm lost.
I can't really give you anything else without the name of the drink to try to help.
What does it start with? What letter?
The first letter is a D, but that doesn't help.
Pink dick.
No, it's not pink anything.
Oh. The dick.
Nope.
Donald.
Nope.
Daisy.
I'll give you the first word.
Dodo.
It's drunk.
Drunk skunk.
Nope.
Drunk sailor. Drunk squirrel. Drunk animal. Drunk deer. Is it related to one of the classes?
Yes. Do you want
The
me
drunk bard.
No.
Drunk warrior.
No.
Drunk fighter.
No. You're kind of going off.
Drunk
the wrong
ranger.
Thing. No.
Oh. Drunk fox.
No.
Is that one of the animals?
Yeah.
Bear.
No.
Cat.
No.
Wolf.
No.
Deer. I already said that. Unicorn.
No.
Oh, drunk unicorn.
No.
No. What am I missing? Okay, I don't know. Tell me.
The only one that you haven't said.
Drunk bunny?
This is called a drunk bunny.
Oh my god.
So
okay.
it's a really like cute drink. It's pink. It's fruity. It's
Okay.
cute. It's a drunk bunny because the bunnies are really cute. But I like the warrior class and the bunnies because they're cute, but they also are like little ferocious wizards that have like crazy big powers.
Okay. I see. Okay, no, I like that. I mean, it was definitely a tasty drink.
Yeah, definitely something I like.
100% something you do. Well, yeah, I guess, is there anything else you have about the game?
No, I guess, I don't know. We definitely need to get that next expansion pack because I think that'll help add some more variables to our game.
Yeah. Well, and like, honestly, for anyone out there, so 100% recommend Here to Slay, but 2, recommend any game from Unstable Unicorns.
Yeah.
We have played the actual, like the namesake Unstable Unicorns. We've played, I guess the name of the company is Unstable Games, sorry. But we've played Unstable Unicorns, we've played this, and then there was one other one. We pre-ordered their Kickstarter for their next game coming out, so
Yep.
we'll let you know what we think of that once we play it.
But yeah, they have like 4 other games that we haven't played, but I like...
We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there. And I like how their art style is across all of the games. It all kind of has the same look to it. And the other thing, too, is I don't know if you know this, it pops up on, like, ads on my internet all the time. They have, like, kind of a friendship with a company called Tea Turtle. I don't know if they're under the same, like, people, but they make different, like, T-shirts and stuff, and their art style matches the Unstable art style. So they'll have like the unicorns from this game and Unstable Unicorns. They'll have them on a T-shirt with a kind of like a fun saying that's something cute, funny.
Okay.
Yeah. So I really like them.
That.
And the other thing too, which we don't have any of it, but for their games they make specific things like play mats
Or like there's a dice tower, I think, too.
Yep, then they make card sleeves to like help protect your cards, make sure they don't get ruined, and they're
like stylized and stuff. And
yeah, they're specific for each game, and
they do a really good job of like making everything feel like it's all part of the same kind of universe almost. Actually, one other thing I should say, on the back of the box, it lets you know, but this is really cool. You can actually make your own party leaders, like for this game. So you just go to their website, unstableunicorns.com/here to slay. But you can upload like pictures of, whatever you want, or they also have some stock images, I believe, of some like ones that they've made. Maybe not, but I thought last time we looked that they had some. And then you just put in like, whatever you want your ability to be and stuff. So like you could literally get a picture of yourself, like, and then like just put yourself in there.
Or you could go on Microsoft Paint and draw a really weird picture.
Nice little stick figure or something.
Yeah, and then have it be some dumb reason, like dumb ability.
Yeah.
I think it'd be fun to use something like outside of the game. Like every time you notice someone takes a drink, you
that
get to
could be
do
fun.
something.
Oh, I like that. Make like a drinking game out of it almost.
Which, nope, never mind. Not in this one. In Unstable Unicorns,
they have.
There's some other rules that are in the not safe for work pack, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah. But anyways, I guess I think both of us would highly recommend the game.
Yep.
If you have any like suggestions for things that you think would be cool to add to the game, totally let us know. Or I mean, also let the developers know if you want to reach out there too. But like we would love to hear like other ideas, because I don't know, I think it's really cool kind of brainstorming those extra things with people. But yeah.
Or if you have any games that are similar to this that you think we might like, let us know.
Yeah. Well, and I guess I should also mention, so this is obviously the first non-video game on the channel. Most of the games here, well, maybe not most, but like
a majority.
A bit of the majority will be more video games. But from time to time, we'll throw in like card games, board games, maybe something else. But for now, most of what we have on the docket is video games. We do have one other board game. I won't say what yet. But we do have one other one that we want to do. But yeah, so hopefully you guys like this too. But yeah. Anyways, so I'm Zach, and this has been Deidra. And thank you for listening or watching. And this is It's Dangerous to Go Alone, Drink This. And cheers. Thank you to Deidra for being on the podcast and for being one of my favorite Here to Slay opponents, even if she wins most of the time. She can be found on Twitch, streaming at twitch.tv/babyhawkins98. I'll link that and all other links in the show notes. Thank you to Soul and Michaela for creating the intro music and the cover art. Soul can be found on Instagram at @aguitarandlove, and Michaela can be found on Instagram at makermick. Thank you to you for listening and supporting. I really appreciate it, and if you'd like to continue your support, you can find me on Ko-Fi for memberships or one-time donations at kofi.com/itsdangeroustogolonedrinkthis. And remember, new episodes will be out every 2 weeks. If you'd like to give any feedback or follow for any recipes, go to my Instagram at itsdangeroustogolonedrinkthis, or feel free to shoot me an email at itsdangeroustogolonedrinkthis@gmail.com. Thank you all again, and remember, it's dangerous to go alone. Drink this.